Okay, so I'm going to give you a little tour of this week's Hyperdoc, and we're still talking about the boy in the bottle and how to separate the chemicals that are in the bottle when it all looks like water. And so this week we're talking about two different methods. One is called chromatography. So there's a video about chromatography on slide 5, and there's on slide 6, there are 2 videos you need to watch and 3 questions you need to answer. And notice it says for the last one, explain your answer. Make sure you read the questions very carefully. Why did the different pigments travel different distances? Which color was most soluble in water that it dissolves easy? How do you know? And then, was the original ink dot a homogeneous or a heterogeneous mixture? Could you see the parts or couldn't you? If it was homogeneous, you couldn't see the parts, it all looked the same. Explain your answer. Okay, slide 7 talks about using a centrifuge, okay, where things are put in a test tube and they quickly spin in a circle. And this also sorts things by density or separates things by density. They typically use this for blood to get the blood cells away from the plasma. Anyway, so watch the video, answer 3 questions. Be thorough. Then you have 2 ed puzzles, one on chromatography, one on centrifugation. And then this is the important part of this week and where most of the points are. Okay, you're familiar with these different techniques we've talked about, and you can review your hyperdocs. You can unsubmit them and submit them. Okay, I won't mark them late if they're not graded yet, or you haven't finished them. Anyway, so we talked about using boiling point. That was when we distilled it. Evaporation, that was the rock candy. Density, that was last week. And this week we talked about centrifugation and chromatography. And I want you to give me a plan of how you would separate the substances in the bottle to be able to figure out what they are, because you're going to separate them and then decide what they are or if there's anything in there. So describe which one you'd use, or 2 or 3, and why you pick the ones you would use. Okay, so this is going to be a couple paragraphs. Okay, I expect this to be pretty darn full when you're done. This is worth 20 points. There's a lot of points there. Only 2 vocabulary words this week. You have a Padlet. And notice, tell one technique you think we should use for separating the materials in the bottle and why we should use it. This is your opinion. Okay, don't look at somebody else's and copy them. You won't get points. There is no quiz this week because really slide 9 is telling me whether you understand what's going on. There's a checklist, a couple extra videos, and remember there is an extra credit. I pushed the due date on that out a couple weeks.